Provincial Executive Council, and our mayors present here, and various councillors, our traditional leaders who are present here, as well as representatives of business, farmers like me, and and representatives of labor and distinguished guests. Allow me to begin by thanking the business representatives who are here, who've enabled us to have this engagement this morning, more particularly for their insightful presentations, which I have found very enlightening and empowering in many ways, because they lay out the breadth and the scope of the tasks that we have to embark upon. Let me also thank MEC Mkachwa, as well as the Premier, for outlining the economic contours and landscape of the province so eloquently, and telling us about the various opportunities that are to be found here in this province, and particularly in this region as well, and this district. And I also want to thank Mr. Masango, as a farmer who's laid out precisely the challenges that farmers face here, as well as the various opportunities. And Zenita Maseko for laying out to us the various initiatives, as well as various opportunities that are to be found here in relation to small, medium enterprises. And my sister Charlotte Mukwena for also outlining what major companies such as Sasol are able to do and are doing to boost the economy of this province. Now, we're very pleased to be here, and I want to extend my gratitude to government ministers and deputy ministers, as well as officials, for having spent the past few days being here in this district, going through the various areas of this district, talking to our people, and outlining precisely what the district development model is all about. This Imbizo gives us an opportunity to interface and to interact with our people, and we've been able to reach out to thousands of people as we've been holding these Imbizos. And we're looking forward to having this engagement with our people just this morning after this. But this engagement with business really gives us a great opportunity to hear from the business community some of the challenges that they face, and we had a mouthful this morning, and I'd like to touch on some of those. Through the district development model, which is being led by Minister Dlamini Zuma and her department, as well as the DPME, we are able to outline precisely the great benefits of the district development model. We're very pleased that this model has now been broadly embraced and accepted by a number of our people, because it gives effect to our ambition not only to strengthen one area of government, which is local government, but to enable provincial government as well as national government to bring to bear our capacities, our capabilities in assisting the various levels of government, particularly local government. And this is part of building a capable state, an ethical and developmental state. this is the centerpiece of the work that we have to do to ensure that we bring stability and capability to our state. But through the district development model, we also aim to deliver integrated services to our people. And those services are not only about water, roads, and refuse removal and everything else. It's also about enabling businesses to operate effectively and efficiently in the various districts of our country. When implemented effectively, the district development model will narrow the distance between our people and government, but it will also give better effect to the relationship between business as well as government, and in the end, also various stakeholders in our country, be they civil society, be they labor, be they religious communities, right across the board. As we are in a district here, municipalities are the engine rooms of government. When they are well run, when there is effective provision of basic services to our people, when municipal competencies like enabling economic activity to happen in the local government space, then that is when we are able to grow the economy. That is when we are able to ensure that there's creation of jobs, reduction of poverty, and elimination of inequality. I've always said that economic activity and growth takes place at the local government space. And this is where we need to focus more of our activities. And it is for this reason that we welcome this opportunity to interact and interface with business at the local government level so as to have an opportunity to hear their thoughts and their views, because they are the ones who interface at a close level with local government. When municipalities are dysfunctional, it directly affects businesses, and it ultimately affects employment. When businesses are not able to get joy, good services, an enabling environment at the local government level, they flee. They take their investments elsewhere. And we have seen how that has happened in some parts of our country when businesses do not get good services, do not get good water, good roads, and everything else. They leave with their money and go and invest it elsewhere. So it is vitally important that our local government structures must function effectively, because by so doing, they will lead to the attraction of businesses to come to their areas. They will lead to jobs being created and our towns and our municipal areas thriving. So when, for instance, our local governments do not pay attention to things like granting permits on time, when they do not pay attention to the supply of water or electricity, and when they don't do things properly, they have revenue losses, and revenue losses leads to a whole number of other ills, such as not even being able to pay salaries for their workers. Unfortunately, in a number of municipalities in our country, businesses have been forced to either close down or relocate because of some of these challenges. And these are the challenges that we need to address. We do not want to see this happening here in Mpumalanga. By focusing on service delivery, and service delivery must be done to our people so that our people's lives can improve, so that they can live a better life. But service delivery must also be done to the various other entities, business and other entities in the area, so that we are able to create a more conducive environment for business, for investment, and ultimately for job creation. Now, the district development model represents an all-of-government approach. The model is about integrated and responsive planning, budgeting, implementation to leverage the endowments of the respective districts for the benefit of our communities and various stakeholders in our towns. It is pleasing, Premier, to note that Nhlanzeni, Nkangala, Gert, Sibande districts have finalized their one plans, and we now look forward to their implementation. This is the third installment of the presidential Imbizo, following successful engagements earlier this year in Northwest as well as in the Free State. So today we are here in Mpumalanga. From here we will go to other provinces as well. And as I was saying in the build-up to this Imbizo, ministers, deputy ministers, and MECs and mayors and senior government officials have been going through the length and the breadth of this province, for which I thank them, interfacing with our traditional leaders, religious leaders, as well as in the school environment. The business community in this province should, and as we heard earlier, guide us on how we can better align our economic planning and activities under the district development model. Mpumalanga is an important province to the national economy, not least because this province is at the center of our energy industry. And I often say that the entire country, every morning, every night, should look up to Mpumalanga and say thank you, because you nisniga ugesi, you give us energy. You are the reservoir of our energy distribution and generation, and this province is richly endowed. You are not only the province of the rising sun, you are richly endowed with natural resources such as large tracts of arable land, abundant water, vast reserves of mineral deposits, and Mpumalanga's natural wonders have made it a top tourism destination for visitors from both inside and outside the country, from elsewhere and on the continent and from abroad. Minister Dlamini Zuma was telling us that the other day, there is, we busy that stone, Minister, Stone Age. There's another one in Britain, but Leala, it is the best and the oldest in the world. But we are not giving good effect to it. So through these processes now, the rising of awareness amongst us, we will be able to give good effect to it, because Mpumalanga, yes, is a tourist attraction province, but we need many more tourists to come here, to come and see the many other endowments that we have. A number of industry giants have offices and operations in Mpumalanga, such as Sasol. Charlotte Mkwena was outlining what they do here. Columbus Steel, Exaro, Mondi, and Sapi being just but a few. Mpumalanga is part of the Maputo Development Corridor that links Gauteng, Limpopo, and Mpumalanga with Mozambique's port city of Maputo. This makes Mpumalanga perfectly placed to take advantage of the opportunities presented by the various endowments that it has, including how it can play a key role in the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. Despite these many endowments, Mpumalanga has high levels of unemployment, as we had. In districts like Nhlanzeni, poverty levels are as high as 72%. which is amongst the highest in the country. The task before us, therefore, is to use Mpumalanga's comparative advantage in terms of economic endowments to overcome poverty, inequality, and unemployment. The province has adopted the Mpumalanga Economic Reconstruction and Recovery Plan to address the negative impact of COVID-19 and on the provincial economy. It is aligned to the National Economic Reconstruction and Recovery Plan, which we are implementing to good effect. Having entered a new phase in our management of the pandemic and the lifting of the national state of disaster, our focus now is on driving a sustainable and inclusive economic recovery that creates more jobs so that we leave no one behind. The pillars of the ERRP include infrastructure investment, localization, industrialization and export promotion, the green economy, interventions and mass public employment programs. In her State of the Province address on the 25th of February this year, Premier Sibande gave a clear indication of the provincial government's ambitious plans. These include the rollout of the Mpumalanga Industrial Development Plan and the planned industrial technology parks. They also include the revitalization of the Ekandastria Industrial Park, the Petrochemical Industrial Technology Park in Govan-Beki Municipality, and the Mpumalanga International Fresh Produce Market, which she also spoke about. We wish to commend the provincial government for its efforts to fast-track the recently designated Nkomazi Special Economic Zone. It is important that small business benefits from economic development and that we provide the necessary support to facilitate this. Now, the plans by the Gert Sibande District Municipality to develop SMME hubs are to be welcomed, as are those by Nhlanzeni and Nkangala District to provide greater support to small-scale farmers, entrepreneurs, and emerging tourism businesses. Another area of opportunity is the development of the green economy. Now, as a country, we are committed to contribute our fair share to reducing global emissions for the sake of human well-being and sustainability. Now, we have ambitious plans to transition to low-carbon and climate-resilient economy. Now, this is something that we intend to push ahead with because it represents a future, particularly in the green energy and the green economy. Now, Mpumalanga is also an agricultural province, and the district plans for scaling up agricultural development and agro-processing are also vital. Now, I'm greatly encouraged that today's presentations have focused on agriculture, small business, and how gigantic companies like SASO will be able to cooperate with various stakeholders to give effect to all this. Now, the objectives of the Imbizo is to ensure that the local economic development strategies in the 20 municipalities have tangible benefits for those people who are unemployed. And we have heard the ambitions that we have for small business. We've also heard the concerns that have been expressed by Babu Masango, and I am absolutely certain that, as the champion here, Babu Masango, said, he's going to respond because you were really talking to him, that assistance will be coming not only your way, but also coming to other farmers in this area as well. Now, I want to comment very, very quickly about what Zenita Maseko was saying, which I found most encouraging. She was talking with great confidence on the incubation services that are being rolled out here in the province. And I must say, Zenita, last night I was addressing the Black Business Council, and I also outlined to them how we are spreading incubation centers throughout the country. We intend to have 110, and we are going to spread them throughout the country. I want to see hundreds and hundreds of incubation centers, because I have seen how they work, how they are able to support our entrepreneurs, to give them all the assistance that they need, from young people right through to middle-aged and older people who participate in incubation centers are able to thereafter run their businesses profitably. I was also impressed to hear that an innovation hub is also beginning to spread its services. Now, through the skills development activities that you are involved in, I think there is a lot of hope for the small, medium enterprises in this province, particularly what with a young person like you being involved in all this, displaying the type of knowledge and expertise that you have shown us this morning. So I applaud you, and I thank you for all the work that you're doing. May you continue with it. Baba Masango, I'm glad that you are a farmer. You are doing what I would like to do on a full-time basis. If I was not doing what I'm doing now, giving speeches and all that, I would be on the farm with you growing beans and maize and cattle. But we really must applaud you for not only engaging in farming for yourself, but also having seen it to be correct to assist other farmers. I really, truly applaud you. And through that, we should find a way as government to give you support, because as you have already demonstrated that you are able to help other farmers, our government must give you support and help you in the work that you are doing. So, champion, ngiyacela ke ukuthi ubaba Masango kulo msebenzi awenzayo wokunceda abanye simncede naye. Simncede. Now, one of the programs that we have embarked upon through the Presidential Stimulus Initiative is to assist our farmers. I was reading in Farmers Weekly just this past edition how somebody who is independent was reviewing what government through the Presidential Stimulus Program initiative has done to assist 10,000 farmers. I spoke about it as well at the BBC dinner last night, and he was writing independently on his own and saying they have done a review of those 10,000 farmers, and he said this is one of the most successful interventions that government has put on the table, because he says it has assisted 10,000 farmers by the voucher system. We've given them vouchers, these farmers. Some of them are subsistence farmers, some of them are like your small and emerging farmers, and they've been able to buy seeds, they've been able to buy fertilizer, they've also been able to buy some implements. And he says through that, they've been able to now bring to life more than 200,000 hectares of land. So through this program, the government, he says, has really had a positive effect. Now, one of the things that we made a mistake on when we really came into government was that whereas the farmers under the apartheid regime had received enormous assistance from government, When we came in, we stopped. So our farmers then did not get assistance. And this was the time when we were supposed to give assistance to our emerging farmers, people whose land has been taken away from them. And now as they get a government who will make sure that they get land, we then take away assistance. Now it's been proven that when you give that assistance, it enables people to immediately embark on farming activities, and they then start looking after themselves. Now this is what we have proven with 10,000. In the State of the Nation address, we said we want to reach out to 250,000 during this period of the MTEF. And we are going to do that because through assisting our farmers, we found that we are able to unleash agricultural activity which contributes so much to our economy. The issue, Baba Masango, of theft on farms is a matter that we are paying attention to. I know that Minister Pele is paying attention to that criminality that takes place on farms. I could not agree with you more about the CPAs, the community property associations. Many of them are dysfunctional. Many of them are not working as well as they should, because in a way, we need to look at them. Some do work, but many of them don't work. Because just as you were saying, we brought people together and forced them into a partnership. We make them partners, and when we beg agahle, there's a saying that you put forward, which a partnership can lead to your losses. So partners should be on a voluntary basis. They should not be forced. Now, through the CPA, we force people to be partners, and their intentions, objectives are misaligned. And you want to work with people with whose objectives are well aligned. So we are going to be reviewing this, as Deputy Minister Skwatsha said. Yes, I know that fuel and electricity are on the rise, and some of it is completely outside our control because it is subject to what happens in the global economy, particularly fuel. The electricity challenge is a challenge that we continue to address because of the status of our electricity generation company. The issue of water rights, you're absolutely correct in raising this matter, because agriculture can only really fully function when you have water rights. If you can water your plants, then your yield goes much higher, and it's something that needs to be looked at. The issue of title deeds is a matter that we also have put on our radar screen, and we are going to attend to it. The question of insurance is a commercial issue which needs to be looked at slightly differently, but through the co-op systems, insurance is a matter that can be easily addressed. So, Baba Masango, we want to support farmers like you. We want you to contribute to the growth of our economy, particularly in the agricultural sector. We have singled out agriculture as one area that can create massive jobs. And Professor Karan, before he died, said in agriculture, as he was participating in the drafting of the National Development Plan, said agriculture can create 1 million jobs. And this is precisely what we now want to focus on. We have seen what assistance that we give to farmers, be they subsistence, be they small, be they medium-scale farmers, it does. Once we give that assistance, it just unleashes enormous energy amongst farmers, and that is the way that we are going to be going, and assist farmers in a variety of ways. Partnering with stakeholders is what SASO says it wants to do, and we welcome that, as was put forward by Charlotte Mukweni. We welcome the participation of big companies in working with stakeholders, stakeholders as in communities, stakeholders as in labor, stakeholders as within government as well, working with all those stakeholders on this journey that is so vital for the growth of our economy. Now, we also have to thank companies like Sasol, which has embraced the fact that we've got to be responsive to the climate change and begin to look at their own plans and strategies on how to recalibrate them so that together we can move with our companies to a more greener future. So we thank Sasol for continuing also to ensure that they establish a number of initiatives or implement a number of initiatives that support our communities. And this engagement that we've just had this morning with the business community helps to give us thoughts and ideas on how we can forge forward to ensure that the working together between business, government, and labor and communities is solidified. So I'd like to thank you all for this participation. We have heard what you have said from the business community, and we want to be able to work more closely with you as the business community as we move forward to ensure that we implement our economic reconstruction and recovery plan, and in doing so, that we should leave no one behind. And in doing so, we should make sure that indeed we do create more jobs, particularly in areas that have so much opportunity out there for them. Mpumalanga is one area in our country that has enormous opportunities. And Premier, we want to thank you once again for having come up with bold ambitions. The other one issue I wanted to add is that in just going through the various initiatives that you have in the province, as I went through many of them, I saw that you focus on infrastructure and spending money wisely on infrastructure. And I just hope that that continues to be spread throughout the province. And as I looked at the various initiatives, I see that they cover the province in a very positive way. And those infrastructure programs, as I saw, are creating a number of jobs, but obviously we need to focus on those that impact on the lives of our people, which is exactly where we are going now. We're now going to have an opportunity to talk to our people, to give them that platform so that they can address the issues that are of great concern to us. Now, we are here as national government, as provincial as well as local government, to listen to our people, to hear what our people have to say. And this is what enriches our democracy. This is what makes our democracy so much alive. Last night, I was saying to the Black Business Council, in the presence of Minister Nathi Mthethwa, I was telling them that with this uproar that has occurred in the nation about the flag that the department had wanted to put up, an initiative which they conceptualized, came to cabinet with it, and we approved, not having looked at the costs. Our people have responded to the issue of the cost, that it isn't the wisest thing at the moment to go and put up a flag that is going to cost so much money. And I was saying to them yesterday, we are a listening government. We listened to our people, and having listened to them, we decided that we are not going to proceed with the flag project because we want to listen to the voice of our people. That is the strength of our democracy. We are still a young democracy. And the democracy must mean that when the people speak, those that have been elected to lead the people and to implement the wishes of our people must listen. Now, the Imbizo is going to give us this morning the opportunity to do precisely that, to listen to them. But beyond the Imbizo, we will want to come back as various departments here to see how best we can respond to what our people are going to be raising. So I want you all to be ready as we're going to listen to our people and to listen very, very carefully to what they have to say, as we have all listened this morning to the business people who were talking here. So I'd like to thank you for being present this morning, for having given an ear to all that has been said. And I'm sorry that you have not been given the breakfast that you had hoped you would get. I hope the speeches that were made here were breakfast enough for you. Thank you very much.